What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Today is our Monsters at Work episode 9 spoiler review. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If you love Monsters Inc., if you love Monsters in University, if you love Pixar, make sure you hit that like button as well. Joining me today, I've got the man, the myth, the legend. He is Loretto. Follow him on Twitter at Marcellus. Jordan, what's good, Lo?
What's up, man? Little bit under the weather, but nonetheless, I had a great time in this week's episode. Another one of my favorite surprises of the year, the Monsters at Work series.
I'm tripping, man. I'm sorry. We just got done doing a what if episode review. You literally just changed shirts, and I'm just like confused. I'm so confused. And that shirt is awesome. I love that shirt, man. Huge fan.
Yep.
Yeah. Today we're gonna just talk about our top takeaways. We're gonna give a grade because we are getting ready for the season 1 finale of Monsters at Work. It's crazy how fast this season went. Loretto, lead us off. Again, spoiler. Loretto, what is some of your main takeaways, impressions of this episode?
So this one was a little bit of a step down from the last couple that I was thoroughly enjoying, and not to take away from the season at all, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. I didn't care for Tyler messed up again and he went on a little adventure chasing that. I hate Duncan's pet, by the way. I don't know what it is about that little gremlin. Don't like him. He's a little nuisance. So the focus on that was a little bit, I didn't care much for it, but like it always does, there's always a pleasant surprise in this show. And it's always something that pulls me back in. And I'm like, God, I love this show. Shouts out to the guy. Because the whole focus on this episode, it's called Bad Hair Day. The focus is a lost Mifter's hair. And I just love that because this episode's about hair, we get the guy with the cone walk out like, oh, I wish I had hair. He was the 2319 guy that kept getting his fur shaved off. And it was just such a funny callback to the film that most of us know and love. So the 2319 guy, that was awesome to see him. And also we got a little bit more interaction with Rose. Not too much, but Roz's nicer sister, supposedly, and she shows it in the end. So couple pleasant surprises there. But overall, in terms of the episode pecking order, not one of my favorites, though.
Yeah. The episode's called Bad Hair Day. I don't know what that means. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've had that issue. But anyway, positives. I enjoyed that it was another Tyler-centric episode. Pound for pound, this week definitely had the most monster puns. I don't know if you noticed that, Loretto. Like they were flying this week. Just pun, all nonstop. I thought David's intro was funny. I thought he seemed like this Dr. Seuss character, immediately lovable. I love the message this week. I talked last week's episode review about how just genuine and heartwarming this show has become. The message this week was be reliable and be honest, and that took front and center this week. So I love how what is Tyler's arc? It's he wants to be a Mifter. He very clearly wants to be a Mifter. That is his family. It's still kind of up in the air if he's going to become a jokester or not. The problem, the negatives, we're only one episode away. We're only one episode away from the finale. And I was hoping that we would get a little development between maybe him becoming a jokester and him making that choice between Mift or being a jokester. Maybe it could happen in that finale. It's going to be extremely emotional if they do. So the positives, the jokes were flying this week. The script was terrific. The negatives, I think the series has a big challenge about sticking that landing in this finale. What were some of your favorite parts, Lo?
Real quick, I want to shout out MCU for Dummies. Thanks for watching this show, man. I want to touch on what you just said though, because you know what I got out of this before I get into my favorite moments? What I got out of this is I feel like it's not so much he wants to be a Mifter. I feel like he just wants to belong somewhere. Because he had that speech where he was like, I was trying to be a jokester and I sucked. And I want to be one of you guys, but I'm no good at it. And it's like, it didn't matter what the group was. Like he wants to belong somewhere. And I think that's something that kids, adults, parents, whatever, anybody can relate to, that feeling of wanting to be, a belonging with a group or a family or the cool kids, whatever you want to call it. Like, I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I appreciated that. Top moments, it's definitely the 2319 guy, 100%. But if I had to do an honorable mention, again, I like seeing the behind the workings of the factory, because what fascinated me about the original film is, you're one of your favorite words ever, world building. And the more we dive into like the factory and how the monsters world works, very interesting to me. So I love seeing the shredder shaft of, this is how the door really gets breaking down. You take off the knobs, you heat up the door, you sand it down, get all the stickers off, and then it goes into the shredder and it goes away forever. Stuff like that is fascinating to me. And I love when they deep dive into like, what goes on behind the door portal process. I always find that really interesting. But other than that, there wasn't too much more than other than that, like I said, I hate that little, what's his name? What's the pet's name?
It's like Roto, something like that.
I don't even know his name. Roto or something like that. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Take that back. One part I did enjoy was seeing that little jerk get sucked up into the tube. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Love it. My favorite moments, honorable mention. There was like just a straight dialogue moment where Tyler is looking for a purse or something like that. And he looks at someone and goes, "Is that your purse?" And you see like this male monster walking by. He's like, he like, "No, mine has a J," or something along those lines. It's really,
so
really funny.
Tyler was like, "Hey, Josh." It's like, of course it has a J on it.
And of course he has a purse. It was great. That was really, really funny. I think Rose had a really funny moment. You kind of touched on it this week, where Tyler's trying to get a locket of her hair, and she finally gives it to Tyler. And Tyler looks at Rose and goes like, "Wait, your hair isn't cut. Where did you get that hair?" And Rose goes, "Don't ask questions you don't want answers to." Like my mind immediately, like that was an adult joke. And
right.
Sorry, my head's in the gutter. That was really funny. But I thought actually that my favorite moment of this week's episode came at the very end with Mike Wazowski during the improv section of this episode. He's trying to kind of show his students that he can be anything at any time, and improv, so freaking well. And everything he shows you is a ball. And what the classmates do is they're trying to give Mike ideas of what to improv on, and they're all rectangles or squares or something along those lines. And he's like, "No, I can't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." And at the end of the day, like, Mike is not good at improv. Like, that's really what it boils down to. That was my perspective on that. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So that was my favorite moments this week. Loretto, how would you grade this week's episode?
A little bit of a step down. Still fun, still entertaining. Had a couple of laughs. I'll give it like a good 6.7. Mm-hmm. It wasn't bad by any means. I didn't fall asleep. I wasn't hating the episode, but compared to the last 2 or 3, which I liked a lot, a little bit of a step down. But I will say though, I appreciated how this episode definitely stood on its own 2 legs, because Mike and Sully weren't in it at all.
Well said.
The only Mike we got was Mike's comedy class at the end, and it was great. But I think this episode showed that we don't need to lean on Mike and Sully, or it felt like that the first 2 or 3 episodes, where it felt like, what are we doing when they're not there? And I think this show is starting to find its footing, so to say. So 6.7 for me.
I think you're spot on, bro. Of course. I'm in that 7 range. Is definitely a step down in terms of moving the plot forward, which I thought last week really did. It kind of sucks to see kind of a standalone episode. We already know, that Tyler wants to belong with the MIFT. He wants to find somewhere that sense of belonging. But I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit. This was not the time on the 9th episode, the episode before the finale, to kind of make this kind of standalone. Although it was good, it was Jason fun.
Duncan's pet.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like David, yeah. Anyway, you ever see Schitt's Creek? You ever see that show, Schitt's Creek?
I've heard nothing but great things. I think you were trying to get me to watch it.
One of the best shows I've ever seen, hands down. And there's a character named David on there where there will never be another David, like on TV shows. Period. That David in Schitt's Creek is the best David, but this was not as good. But they kept saying David, like, and everything I was thinking in my head was like Schitt's Creek. You have to watch that. If I'm gonna watch Ted Lasso, then you better get your ass to watch Schitt's Creek. You'll love it, man. Just stick through.
Agreed, man. You don't gotta threaten me with a good time.
Stick through the first season, and the rest just is some of the best comedy ever. So, all right, let's wrap it. What did I grade? I graded a 7 out of 10. So that is our grade of episode 9 of Monsters at Work. Lo, what do you got going on, man? Where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. Don't got too much going on. I got a couple fantasy football drafts in the next week or two. That's where a lot of my focus is going to be. I wanted to thank you and the Painted Lines crew again for letting me join your guys' little league. I think that'll be fun to break down as the year progresses. So
Little League.
What was that?
Little League. I'm just kidding.
You guys can check that out on the Painted Lines when that comes around, and keep an eye out for our What If reviews on this channel. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up as we progress into the fall season. Lots of stuff coming out. I cannot wait for Shang-Chi. I got the poster right there from the promo screening, and I will go again in about 5 or 6 days or so. Cannot wait. And I will also see Candyman tonight. We may or may not have a review for that, so keep an eye out, guys.
Love it. September 18th is our comic book movie draft. Saturday. It's a Saturday, September 18th, 8 p.m. East Coast time. 10 teams selecting fantasy football style, snake style, the best comic book movies of all time. I won't be in it. My man Lo will. I'm just too good, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, the Crockpots are tearing it up. We've got back-to-back championships in the last 2 drafts. I'm just so happy. That's pretty cool. We have What If reviews dropping every Thursday. We've got these reviews. Star Wars Vision reviews are going down in the very near future. That looks really exciting. And then I'm hoping we do some Ted Lasso reviews because it's really enjoyed. So that's a little bit of our world. Guys, thank you for watching. Guys, if you haven't subscribed already, please smash that subscribe button. Share the love. Follow my man Loretto on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. I am Dibes, Mr. Crockpot. For Loretto, for myself, thank you for watching. Stay awesome, everybody.